Hi, so I wanted to sort of speak on the topic of what is happening in the parliament, and maybe usually, like they say, that spiritual leaders should only make a demarcation between politics and spirituality, and I really am sort of fluid in all these categories because I don't believe in these sort of bifurcation or division. I can divide, and I did myself. I did a division on things myself, which is a not a, it's a sort of a cognitive way of defining, limiting, making spaces for everything that deserve to be where they are. Like you have a as an education minister, you make different categories of people. Like okay, if someone understands this, he goes in class 11. Someone understands this, he goes in class 12. If someone in India, it was what is your age, based on your age, how much you should know, and what class you should be in. That is the level of cognition and category and division people do. So right now in politics, as I see it, there's a big sort of a confusion that is happening. Everyone is attacking every little thing, and the major diversion of the thing which is happening is diversion from the dharma itself. The dharma itself says simple thing: those that were innocent, like pure-hearted, came to rescue of the students, little boys and girls who were hit by batons, electricity, pellet guns, you name it, they were beaten down, and simple people were beaten by RAF and police officers who were doing nothing and they beat them. Rather than being accountable, being honest, accepting their mistake, they are pointing at people, or young girls or young little kids who were starting to say cuss words to Narendra Modi. You know why they would say something to Narendra Modi and not to Dharmendra Pradhan and not to Amit Shah? You guys think they have some animosity, like the young generation has animosity against Narendra Modi? Why would they do that? Young kids who are 10, 11, 10th class and whatever, 12th class, why would they do it against Narendra Modi? They haven't even given the NEET paper. Have you thought about it? Why would someone say Narendra Modi ki, about his sister or his mother? Why would they say these galis? Because Delhi knows a lot of galis? Delhi is a little dirty? Why would they do that? Why would young kids curse Narendra Modi in a Jantar Mantar? Firstly, what are they doing? There were a lot of good people there, people with the 1% of income, rich folks who don't even vote. Those people showed up at that event. Those people were supporting these students who are willing to do whatever it takes for the freedom of humanity, freedom of choice, freedom of election, freedom of the adharma that was happening in the country. In the last 1 week, so many things were done wrong to the people of India, people of this country, and the world. And they need to be accountable for every little thing they have done. Not a single person should be left out of what went wrong. And that has to be made accountable. If you cannot account, you have AI, you have UPI, or you have, what is it called? It's called Aadhaar card, and you have documented everybody in the country, and you're controlling everything from their phone. You're controlling where someone lives, you're controlling where someone talks, and you're controlling all these kids who are sort of saying bad words through AI technology. And why do you want to control them later on? What is the point of that? If you are willing to take them accountable for what they're doing, are you not accountable for what you've done to the country? Are you not accountable for the deficit you've brought to the country? Are you not accountable for the dirt that you've created, the cement dirt you have made on the roads of India? Subpar road work that you've done to India, Maharashtra, Hyderabad, Delhi, all these small roads that are wrong. You've not done wrong to the ethanol fuel that you did. All of a sudden, there's stability in the fuel. How is that possible? You are reducing the crops of India, doing agriculture, putting agriculture products, and actually importing more oil from Russia, and then you're complaining about putting, what is it called, ethanol in petroleum? Why? Why you complain? Why do you want to do that? Tell us an answer. Why are you so forcefully enforcing this rule, and why can't people ask you this question? Why are you doing this? Simple problem, simple answer in public. Then you're complaining about, you're taking, क्या हिंदी में बोलते हैं, बात का पतंगड़ बनाना. What does that mean? Take a simple problem. This is such a huge problem of Adharma that you did, and you're taking one aspect of what somebody in the opposition has said about a professor called Kamakoti. Yes, I agree with you. I agree with the fact that Kamakoti is a very intelligent being, and what he has said is beyond the understanding of normal culture of India right now. And the education system that you promote also makes them, or general students, think it is not a good or viable education policy for people of India. Yet you go in parliament and quote American researchers and patents about cow urine and cow dung, and say that they control, what is it called, nuclear radiation. It is good for the floor of the house. Like a lot of ashrams have gobar on the floor. We do agnihotra from gobar. We do so much things because the spine of the cow, and whenever it defecates, that defecation has a lot of power and a lot of beauty in it, that is reflective of this energy coming out of the spine of a cow. And yet that's why we worship a cow, because it only does good. Everything it does is good. So that is why it has a pattern. You don't need to go to US and tell us it is good. People already know in the villages, and it is not that. The whole point is that you are diverting the issue of what you have done to the normal people of India. And if you talk about human feces may be intelligent or may not be intelligent. Depends on whose feces it is. If it is a feces of someone who is not enlightened, who's sleeping, who does nothing but not does good things, eats all kinds of stuff, depending on the human body he has, depending on the connection to the divine he has, yada yada yada. So many complexities are there. You cannot define a human's poop as being good or bad. And he made a statement in public saying that human feces are very intelligent. You should ask whose feces he was talking about. Was he talking about Shiva's feces? There's a Shiva that is alive on the planet, on the country, that actually does poop, and his poop is very, very intelligent and actually is good for the normal human being. Who's that Shiva? Is that the same Shiva in the Ganges, who actually, there are people, that collective poop that is going into his poop? I'm asking a logical question. Don't go to US and find me a patent on it. Use your brain. Don't tell me chapter number 1, chapter number 2, page number 3. What is the problem in page number 4, paragraph number 5, third word. Tell me the reason of that word. If you're so foolish that you have to go into some concept or some Shiva's concept or someone's views or some meaning, and then bring it down to a word and bring it to a chapter and then bring it to a word, then who will understand the meaning of the word? Only the Shiva will understand? Or you will make the word go back to the Shiva and then people will understand? What is the point of you quoting, this is the paragraph, this is the word? So people can take authority. And who's the authority? It's a Western Shiva. And a Western Shiva has given you authority on an Indian concept and Indian meaning. How wonderful you are, Mr. Whatever your name, Rajya Sabha MP you are. You should be ashamed to call yourself a RSS worker or a BJP worker. If you have no authority to talk about a subject which you don't understand, do not raise it in parliament. And if you have to make a point and argue and try to be so smart and like be so bold, I made a point and I've defeated him in an argument, you're the biggest fool on the planet. If you are not even talking about Shankara, the man who actually argued in front of the whole country and won over the whole country based on logic, the refinement of intellect has to be like that. Not by the bal of the buddhi, is not bal. Using the buddhi and then using your bal behind it is not bal of the buddhi. It is a foolishness that you do in the Indian politics, which has to be stopped. We don't want a parliament that is so stupid. You tell us to do, Mr. Om Birla sits on a seat and says, आपको ऐसे कपड़े नहीं पहन के आने पार्लियामेंट में, आपको ऐसी बात नहीं करनी पार्लियामेंट में, आपको ऐसी लैंग्वेज नहीं यूज़ करनी पार्लियामेंट में, आप कोर्ट में जाओ, सुप्रीम कोर्ट में जाइए, आप you cannot talk to the Supreme Court judge like this. Where have you learned this language? What will you do? And where in the world, have you seen Americans? Have you ever been to United States of America? Have you ever been to a court or a lecture in America? You know how the judge talks to you? He talks in plain English so that the person speaking understands. In the courtroom as a witness, understands what is happening. The judge also speaks the common language that the people of the country understand. We are not slaves of the British language. Let me be very clear. And we are definitely not slaves of the Persians that we need to speak a Hindi that is mixed mixed with Urdu or Farsi. Not even Urdu. Urdu also comes from Farsi. So why do we need to speak a language that is not even ours? This means we are not actually in freedom of our country. We are slaves of the Persians and the British. When will we get freedom? We need to start asking these questions, that we are actually Indians of this subcontinent and we need freedom from the Iranian and the Persians, and we need freedom from the British colonial mindset. And if you are going to teach this book and syllabus that is talking about this system, then this system has to go. We need avadhuts and we need people who are willing to challenge the system so that the freedom of choice of the people as a collective comes. And if it's not the collective, if you made a king or a Prajapati, then the Prajapati should represent the Praja itself. This means there are more people who are foreigners in this country right now than the people of the country itself, which means they need to be kicked out. If that is the case. And if it means that you have to sit in court and start talking in plain Hindi, plain Tamil, plain Kannada, whatever the language it is, just start talking so that people understand the ground reality of what it is happening in India. You cannot force yourself onto this country. This is not a slave. You will never rape our country, and you will have to go back to your fucking place that you don't even deserve to be there also. If you have brought disgrace to this country, disgrace to your own country, where will you go? Should we give you a small island called Alcatraz? Will we drop you in a jail and put you in a 5, 10, 1 lakh people in a small 1 square kilometer? Will you like this? Will you like such a place? When you don't have an answer, do not even come to this country. Right? Before I utter another word, you should be back into your own land, into your own space, wherever you've come from. Okay? And this is in a very specific language, specific arrow that I made. Now, the last word that I say, or would like to say about this debate as a pratyahara or as a yogi, if you want to divert the topic as a pratyahara so that the reality gets away, then don't do that yoga at all. Be with the self as a seer. That becomes the only yoga you should start doing. And if you are with the seer, if you are with the rhythm, if you are with some aspect of what that you are, that has everything in it as it is, then you will understand what it is. Then you can be a Supreme Court judge. Then you can be a Prime Minister. Then you can actually tell people and abide by Dharma. Still you don't have that. You don't have no right to be on the seat that is called Prime Minister, and actually the head of the Republic is the President of India. And so the President of India is not a rubber stamp. You should look at the way, if you really want to talk about this, that Prajakapati nahi hai, and that he has the right and you have to wait for 5 years, then let me tell you something very, very sharp. The President of India is elected by the Parliament and then chosen by the Prime Minister and Rajya Sabha. That becomes the President, I think, then becomes the President of the Republic of India. Means he or she is the head of state and rules over every little thing that everything under it happens. She has the control on the army, air force and navy. So you have to get her approval before you start a war. And if she is only a rubber stamp that you are just trying to woo over, that is not going to run by our country. You need to be accountable for every action you take, and we need a parliament that makes a law that is actually making everything transparent. Now, one thing I want to say, you put everything digital, you put IDs digital, you put taxes digital, everything online, so that whatever corruption was happening on the paper level, paper technology, goes online. Now, you brought AI that hides what's happening online. It mocks and sort of covers up everything that is happening on the internet. So how can we trust your online systems that are happening? How can we trust that this is transparent and it's not accountable or accountable? Since there is no accountability in that respect, you have to cut down, you have to remove AI from this, and then we will talk about what natural and normal law is. And if you have really thought of destroyed so many things, and I'm sorry, they will no longer be the Prime Minister of this country. It's not a threat. It's not a, what is it called? Forewarning or something. I don't talk about these things. It is just a definite law that I foresee happening, because you have exhausted all your options to sort of not run away, but take away your pain, or take away you stood by your dharma. And when you stand by dharma, you have no other option but to leave. You have no other option but to move on to the next, either bad or good. So you will, I mean, it's just, I'm just sad that you had to go through this, and I'm sad to all those that sort of fell in line with whatever you've done. So if you have sort of roped in your team around you to defend you, then don't put people in front of you to defend you. If you are the real lion that you say of Gujarat, of Gir lion, then you should have been in front of them, not behind them, hiding away. You should not talk to only friends and little boys and girls. Go talk to the opposition leader, go talk in a press conference, go answer questions that people are asking, go to all the Shankaracharyas yourself and tell them, if you've done something wrong, can I be of any help? And did I do something wrong? Can I do a prashchit? You come out in public and start doing this. If you don't want to do this, I'm sorry. You have no other option. You have to leave this country. You have to leave the parliament. You have to leave until we figure out who will be the next prime minister and the president, or if the president is not compromised, and we need to see how this country gets ruled. And if people in the army don't understand this, I'm sorry, they are all losing their mind. You know, an army general usually says that when I execute an order, my people just listen to what I say. They don't think, they execute. So the responsibility of a war general is much, much more than someone who is just a mere soldier. So as a war planner on the Prime Minister's seat in 7 days course, you have to take responsibility for the Adharma you've done on the planet, including what you've done in Israel and other places. Jai Hind.